Hi everyone, my name is Rong Sing. I'm the co-founder of ZeroBit. Currently, I'm a master's student at Cornell Tech and working on blockchain research and development. Previously, I was a software developer working for Zillow for a couple of years, and now I'm working on ZeroBit. So with the rise of platforms like Ethereum, decentralized applications are growing. In fact, there are over 2,000 of them on the Ethereum platform alone. You have the notable ones like Uport, Gnosis, and Ether Delta. And we believe that they're going to change every industry, like the websites are to the internet. But just like traditional applications, decentralized applications also need to store large amounts of data, like images, videos, files, you name it. But currently, it's extremely expensive to store data on the blockchain. In fact, 1 megabyte on Ethereum costs 13,000 US dollars and 20 minutes. So imagining taking 20 minutes and paying $13,000 when you upload a file to Dropbox. There are many networks that are working to solve this problem, such as Filecoin, Saya, and Storage. And they're doing a good job, but this is an extremely technically challenging problem. And as a result, they can only focus on so much. For instance, let's see Saya, one of the storage networks. To use this, you have to download a 30 gigabyte blockchain, then hold on to an extremely volatile token, upload files through some weird API that they have, and then run your own node and maintain your files. And this is extremely complicated even for developers that are experienced. And this is where ZeroBit comes in. We want to make it extremely easy for you to store files on the blockchain. With our service, you simply create an account, get an access key, include 10 lines of code into your application, and now you're ready to go. You can store files on any of the storage networks. We'll even provide things like logging and file management through a user dashboard. Let's look underneath the hood to see what's happening. What we're doing, we're not a network. We're building a layer on top of the existing file storage networks. You can think of us as Coinbase for file storage. We connect with all the existing storage networks and provide a standardized API to allow people to upload files, critical functions such as file encryption, replication, and recovery, and as well as incredibly important functions that don't exist in existing storage networks, such as access control, file discovery, price discovery across different networks, and as well as payment through USD. There are some competitors in this area. For instance, Storage Bridge, run by the Storage Network, Gaia, run by Blockstack. However, they're missing some critical functions, and most of them are not even live yet. So far, we've done a proof of concept with Capital One, where we built a distributed file storage like Dropbox with them, and this is live. You guys are free to check it out. And the idea behind this was they wanted a way to store documents in a censorship and secure way. A censorship-resistant and secure way. And right now, we're working with two companies. One is Civil. They're the largest blockchain news platform in the world. And we're working with them to store files in a censorship-resistant and permanent way, as well as Validity Labs, one of the biggest blockchain consultancies in the EU. Our business model is actually very simple. Every time someone stores files to us, we take a 3 to 9% transaction fee. And another part that we're going to do is we're going to provide consulting services for people that are building decentralized applications to help them do custom development integration for file storage. I just want to show you guys that file storage on these decentralized networks are on the rise. So since 2015, this is the number of files stored on the Saya network. And our acquisition model is very simple. We're focused on developers. So we will be providing decentralized applications developers 100 gigs of free space if they integrate with us, and as well as attend hackathon events where they're happening on a daily basis, and as well as help small to medium-sized companies integrate with our platform. Currently, we're very focused on developing the product, and by Q2 of next year, we will have a private testing group that will be using our platform. And our mission, which is critical, is to empower developers to create decentralized applications and to accelerate the adoption of decentralized systems. And this is something that is very core to our business and to our company. So, you know me, and you have my co-founder, Ilan Komargotsky, the dude holding the camera. He's currently a postdoc at Cornell Tech working on cryptography research. He did his PhD at the Weizmann Institute in Israel and was a team leader for various tech startups. Jeremy Phillip, who runs the Capital One Labs, and one of the very early team members of Lyft, and as well as David Vorick, who is the founder of the Saya Network and the creator of the Obelisk mining network, mining company. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any questions before we let him go? Oh, there we go. Question is pricing on storage. Right. How much?
So right now on these networks, it's around $50 for 1 terabyte of storage. And we take a small fee whenever they store files on the network, as well as when they retrieve files. So every time they get a file, we also charge a small fee on top of that. Yeah. So the question was, why would somebody use ZeroBit and work with decentralized file storage over something like S3 or Azure? And the idea is that we're working with decentralized applications, which is the main group of users we're going after. And if decentralized applications are storing files in S3 or Azure, then it's basically a central point of failure. And what that means is the developer that created the account to S3 or created the account to Azure can cut off access to that account and access to the files at any time. So in essence, their application becomes just a centralized application. So the reason they have to use decentralized application is they need to store their files in a way that not even the creators can stop access to. Yeah, thank you. Yep. Yeah, that's a big issue. So what we're doing is we're actually working with some storage networks to provide geographic specific storage. So for instance, Saya or storage, they want to say, you know, we want to limit access to only IPs within, let's say, Switzerland or within Germany or within certain countries, but they're still decentralized within this country. But that's still coming, and it's an important part. Another way that people are doing it now is it's not located physically in the EU, but they provide things like encryption, and so that you can only access them if you're within the EU, or you can only decrypt them if you're within the EU. Yep. Yeah, we are. Yeah, so we're encrypting it, but there's a couple of ways to do it. One is that the users have their own keys, and then they encrypt it before they send it to us. Another way is that they don't want to manage keys, and they send it to us to encrypt. Yeah, so we tell people, like, if you want the convenience, but if you don't want the convenience, you have to manage your own keys for now. Yeah, and that goes back to like the same problem as people have in like wallets and things like that. But
One last question.
so the question was how many replications for one file? That depends. So it depends on how you want to recover the files. So if you, like, a user can basically set that. But for now, the default, let's say, is 30. So your file is like spread across 30 different computers or 30 different nodes. Yeah, so you can set that with what they call erasure coding. Yeah, and you can do things like 20 out of 30, 10 out of 30, so that's something that users have to set, but then they have to pay a price depending on how much they can recover from the files.